Good afternoon, good evening, fellow makers, most welcome guests. We are the Magnificent Seven. We are passionate about surfacing insights related to refugees because increased awareness leads to better decisions and policies. In this presentation, which you can now see, you can look forward to a demo of our amazing web app. But first, we will share an insight into our working practices, the technology we used, the reasons we made this product, and our successes and challenges. But who are the Magnificent Seven? Becca, a fashionista and now keyboard goddess. Otis, a React revolutionary. Mayara, the method maker. Christoph, the backender. And Joshua, the Google Maps genie. And me, the Versal Victor. The final piece of our puzzle is Maggie. Maggie is a product owner, activist, and concept creator of this web app, and we have worked very closely with Maggie throughout this project. Before starting, we decided to list our common goals that we wanted to cover this project. So we wanted to create something meaningful that could potentially make a difference. That was our main goal. But inside of this, we wanted to become more confident with JavaScript and React. We wanted to have a better understanding of an API, test with Jest or Cypress. We were very keen to use Google Maps and the Google Maps API, and we wanted to explain and diagram that request response cycle of the project. I will now pass over to Otis, who will explain further.
Thank you, Tim. So the basic outline of our project is that it's a map of the world that gives users the ability to see what's going on in specific countries in terms of human rights, abuses, conflicts, or any reason why people might be seeking refuge elsewhere. And we created this project to help curb misinformation and to provide a safe platform to educate the public on global issues, as there's a severe lack of information about these issues in the media. The main focus of our project, Why Leave, is to inform people about these conflicts and issues in unrepresented, marginalized nations and countries on our planet. These issues can cause inhabitants of these countries to seek refuge in order to survive or to build better lives for themselves or their families if they didn't make their journey alone. And the reasons why people leave or flee their home countries isn't common knowledge, and the topic is filled with lots of ignorance. Phrases like, "they're just here to take our jobs," are untrue, damaging, and completely misleading. The project's idea stemmed from our ideator, Maggie's personal experience working with refugees and asylum seekers, understanding that there's a knowledge gap that could be filled with the tech we've learned so far at Makers. I'm now going to pass over to Becca to tell you more about the planning process.
Thank you, Otis. So after meeting with Maggie, we created a product specification, some user stories, and an MVP. We then created a beautiful wireframe with our vision using the Google Maps API, which would be an interactive map with markers that you could click on and see some information. I'm now going to hand over to Chris, who's going to talk about the stack.
Thank you, Becca. So based on the project specification, user stories, our knowledge, and our goals, we decided to use something a little bit familiar for us as a backend and something more challenging as a frontend. So we chose Ruby on Rails to work as an API and to store information in a database, and with the aspect as a testing library. We used Travis as a continuous integration tool, and our backend was deployed in Heroku. Most of us wanted to learn and be more confident with JavaScript and React, so we decided to use that as a frontend. And we use Cypress for testing. To place pins on the map, we use Google Map API. And CSS and the Bootstrap were used for styling. We deployed the front end to Vercel, which also worked as a continuous integration tool. I will now pass to Becca, who will tell you more about how to app evolve over the time.
So this is our first complete MVP. So it's just a picture of a map with data from one country, which the picture of the map was quite key for our MVP, which we really wanted to implement the Google Maps API. We then managed to implement the Google Maps API, and we've got an interactive marker for one country again, where if you click it, you'll see some data pulled from our API. I will now pass over to Mayara, who's going to give you a demo of our app.
All right, so there's the homepage with our map. In each marker, we have figures representing the population, the refugees, the asylum seekers, and percentage of leavers. The main content is a crisis cause. This cause describes just one of the many reasons people may be leaving. And we chose the countries with the most concerning emergency at the moment. There we have some explanation of our project, some links to our GitHubs, then some explanation of the differences between a refugee, an asylum seeker, and a migrant. There's a link to Amnesty International as well, and some ways to support, and Maggie's website, our ideas person. And yeah, I'll pass over to Josh now.
Thank you, Mayara. We'll start off by going over a couple of the challenges that we faced. So as a big team, we found that it was hard to stay organized, and signing jobs and roles of a group of 6 people can sometimes get confusing, and not necessarily understanding how long certain tasks take, and then splitting those between each other's. Excuse me. We were not active enough when it came to merging at the beginning of the first week, which ended up leading to a bunch of problems later on into the project. And some of these were included, such as Vercel deployment and having nightmares with Travis. And also, we also had struggles with the front end testing towards the end of the project as the code got more complicated. But some of our successes were that despite the large team, we had excellent communication throughout the entire project. We were all actively jumping in and out of each other's rooms to help keep each other calm and collected, and making sure everyone was engaged and that they didn't struggle anything alone. And everyone had equal opportunity, equal responsibilities, so they felt like a key member of the team at any given time. And finally, we were able to work far beyond our original MVP. And that's the end of the presentation. So thanks for listening, everyone.